susceptible. It's actually called diminishing intent. Diminishing intent says the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. And I can prove it, Ram. How many of us are still writing that book 20 years later? And you tell people as if it's something you are actively doing, when actually
Dr. T. No, Dr. T, I thought we agreed never to get personal about these things. I thought, I thought you talk about issues, Dr. T. I thought there was a pact. I thought there's a pact between you and I not to get personal.
Let me use another example. Right. How many of us are still cleaning up that garage? How many of us are still starting that project? Are still doing that gardening thing? How many of us are still doing that course? No, I'm doing this course. It's 7, 8, 9, 10 years later. See, the reality is that you will never actually get much done until you go ahead and do it before you are ready. And today is the day to grow. The best time, the Japanese say, to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So the timing gap is an excuse that we use to put off what we should do today. And that's a challenge for our growth.
Human beings, Dr. T, I think it's by design, and maybe this is an excuse, it's another gap. But I think by design, we are also scared of making mistakes. And that's why perhaps we have the timing gap. That's why we have the knowledge gap, because we're scared of mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. But you see, Rams, I know growing can be a messy business, but I really, challenge our parenting system and our educational system, because we have taught kids in school and we have raised kids to feel bad for making mistakes. In school, you are saying, no, you can't make mistakes. Why did you make a mistake? There, you only make 3 mistakes in this job. So we have ostracized the concept of making mistakes, not actually understanding the neuroscience of mistakes, that human beings develop habits, they develop expertise, and they develop, by the way, a prowess and excellence through making mistakes. And so guess what? The concept of making mistakes is the concept of failing forward. So children must be taught to fail forward, fail quickly forward, which means make the mistakes you need to make so that you can learn from them and you can move forward in them. But as parents, we don't open that space. In school, we don't open that space. And so now we've got adults who are timid, who are afraid of stepping out and trying things and exploring and investing and falling in love and starting a business and growing through that process. We fear because we are afraid of making a mistake. They say, they say Mike Tyson was so used to sending other people to the canvas that the day he went to the canvas, he had no comeback. He had no comeback. He was just never used to the floor. He didn't know how to get up.
It was Buster Douglas, the first guy to send him down, wasn't it?
Right. It was Buster Douglas. I remember that one.
Yes, I remember that fight. So, yes, Dr. T, look, I look at 2020 again. And now that you've gone on the horrible path of being personal, let me speak for myself then, Dr. T. When you wake up in this terrible year and things just don't come together, you battle to find that inspiration to really grow. You open that laptop and it's like, but I just don't have it. You dress up, in your gym clothes, but you don't get out to do it because it's just you battling to pick up that inspiration. Is there something like that in your gaps? Is there an inspiration gap?
Oh, absolutely. There's a very big inspiration gap where, as you rightly say, people say, I just don't feel inspired to do it. And we say it with such a sense that the rest of the world around us must just understand that right now I just can't deal. Those are the words we use. No, I just can't deal right now. But guess what? We need to understand that motivation will not strike you like lightning. And motivation, again, is not something that someone else can bestow or force on you. In fact, Rams, the whole idea of motivation is a trap. Forget motivation, just do it. I remember Tony Robbins says that whenever I need to do something, there's this exercise he does where he jumps into this pool of ice, and that's how he recharges himself. He says, I don't even think about it. It's not a function of the neocortex. He says, once my soul says we do it, I don't leave it to the executive function that likes to reason things. Then it now gives rise to the amygdala that will say, really, do you really think you want to do this? No, it's not an issue of thinking. When you need to do something, just do it. And after you start doing it, you will find that motivation comes and makes it easy for you to keep on doing it. So motivation and inspiration are never the beginning. They are always a follow-up to decisive action. So you don't have to feel good before you start. You feel good during and even after, you see. And that is why people who get things done don't wait for inspiration. Inspiration finds them doing what they need to be doing.
So you're saying to me action on its own is motivation?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, action is the requisite for motivation, not the other way around. People think motivation is the requisite for action. No, actually, action is the requisite for motivation. It's like going to the gym. There are many times where I drag myself to the exercise and I start, and 10 minutes later, I'm so glad I did, But I will never get the motivation lying in my bed and it's raining outside, and maybe you are married, you are busy pairing ties. There is no way you can get motivated to go and exercise. You go and exercise, then motivation comes. The first one is that growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. You see, there is that tension like an elastic band, right? When you pull it, the tension brings it back. Everybody must have a tension, that internal tension, that subconscious tension, that mental tension that says, I am here and I need to get there. That thing that keeps you awake at night, that pushes you to be better, that challenges you, that unspoken voice that always speaks to you. The day we lose that internal tension, we stop growing.
So what I think we should be doing, I'm going to challenge you to each send us a question about your own growth, about your own development, things that really bother you and you want to go to the next level. Send a question for Dr. T. So next week's show, we dedicate to you, Dr. T, answering your questions of growth. What would make it better for you to get to the next level? What do you need to look at? What do you need to shed? Because sometimes it's the clothes we wear that are bothering us, not the clothes we don't have that are bothering us. So let's make it our own show. Next week, it's you asking us questions, and Dr. T only comes in to respond to your questions. And feel free to send more than one, but we're going to give everybody one chance, and then if we exhaust them, we can go to your second one that you would have sent if you send more than one. Is that a deal? Can we do that? Because I want to challenge Dr. T to get personal with you. He always gets personal with me, so let him get personal with you. I'm tired of Dr. T. So let's make it big next week. And if it goes well, we even make it an hour. There's nothing wrong with it. We can make it a full hour and end the year with a bang, because next week is our very final show of the year before we come back next year. Dr. Thando Sibanda.